Greetings everyone, this is Vakar Kavi from TFT Perspective, and today we are going to discuss the chances of World War III. As we know, on 19 November there was attack by Ukrainian forces through use of ATACMS, and some of the Russian positions at Bryansk were hit. And then it was followed by a Storm Shadow missile provided by the United Kingdoms, which were also basically used for targets. Biden had allowed use of these long-range weapons, and even the Trump camp is worried. The entire world is worried. What could be Russian response? Then we had two important events. One was a briefing by Maria Zakharova, sorry, and during that there was some hint that Russia has probably fired a new IRBM. Basically, initially it was reported that it was an ICBM or Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, but the videos which have come up, it's a new weapon system. This was also followed by an address by President Putin, and entire international media has reported that he has now basically said that they have crossed the red line, NATO and their allies in Ukraine, and Russia has the right now to respond. And there are now talks of Russia going to target directly US, UK, and other NATO allies. Now we'll just hypothetically see what could be the options available in Russia. Uh, Unfortunately, when you look at the response from both sides, although the travel time between continental US and Russia is closer to 45 minutes or 60 minutes, but now we have hypersonic missiles. And we'll discuss how they can basically beat each other's systems. Now, if you look at the map of the world, we have basically Eurasia here, and the elements marked in red circles are basically the ground-based possible launch pads or launch systems. From north, you have Murmansk, and then you come to Moscow proper, Voronezh, and then Astrakhan, because it was reported that the last missile fired on Ukraine was from Astrakhan. We're not very sure. Then we have Tartus base in Mediterranean on the Syrian coast, which can be used to strike Europe. And then we come to deployments which are in square, which are basically the maritime deployments, basically SLBM or submarine launch or under surface launch ballistic missiles. So these could be in the Barents Sea. Then you have North Sea. You have area closer to Greenland, the North Atlantic itself, and then Russians could also deploy a submarine closer to mainland continental US. There are also speculations that Russia has some understanding with Venezuela and Cuba. So these could be some of the places from where Russia could respond against mainland United States. So this, I think, after 9/11 will be first time. So we are into a specter of a nuclear war. If you look at the missile system, short-range air launch system could be Zircon, which has a limited range, but then it is a hypersonic missile. Then we have the famous Kinzhal missile, which is being discussed a lot. This is a new induction in last, I think, 4 years, with a range of 11,000 kilometers. So it means that even if it is flying on the Atlantic, it can hit United States and Europe. And then we have Skandar, again, basically a range of about 500 to 1,000 kilometers. So this could be used for tactical nuclear weapons. And if you look at the ballistic missiles, a huge capability available with Russia. You have SSX-30 with 10,000 kilometers. This could be fired from either the western part of Russia or even from the eastern part, that we are not showing that in case they can use it from Vladivostok. Then we have SS-1B with 16,000 kilometers, and SS-19 which is 10,000 kilometers. Now if you look at the SLBMs or submarine launched ballistic missiles, I think Russia is one of the largest fleets with 64 submarines, nuclear powered as well as diesel. And if you look at the weapon system available are mainly MIRVs, the one which we saw employed in Dnipro in Ukraine. And then I think the hallmark of the missile system is Geneva system with 12,000 kilometers. So hypothetically speaking, now if let's say UK or mainland US becomes the target, and let's say if it's the eastern seaboard, then we have some of the options available with Russia from the mainland. It could easily basically affect the entire Europe, including this arc. So it means that capitals of NATO allies in France, in Spain, Germany, United Kingdoms, or even in the northern, let's say, Scandinavian countries could be target. We don't know what's in the mind of President Putin. And if you look at other short-range weapon systems, in case they use the Air Force, Russian Air Force could actually operate from, so it could basically cover the entire Europe. So this is one possibility. Now, even if you look at the uh, mainly the intercontinental ballistic missiles, so they could, I think, cover it in different arcs, including Canada and United States, right from the bases in mainland Russia or through basically SLBM. Now, SLBMs are again very important if the deployment is south of Greenland or in the North Atlantic, or in case they have understanding with Venezuela and Cuba. So these could again very effectively cover area up to middle of United States. In case Venezuela and Cuba come into play, so you have another arc covering entire North America. So this is going to be, I think, very very interesting. And if you bring in the Tartus base from Syria, this could again cover a wide arc, basically of Europe. So is the world ready for World War III? And are they going to keep on poking? In the United States, there's, I think, division of opinion. You look at Trump's camp, they are basically blaming Biden's team that they have allowed long-range weapon system like Storm Shadows and ATACMS to incite President Putin. And the response is now coming. With President Putin is man of his words. In case he says something, I think he will do it. But how it's going to shape when President Trump is inaugurated on 20th January, we don't know whether a shooting war is already started. And during this, I think, period of another, I would say, less than 2 months, what could happen to the entire world? How it's going to impact the, maritime shipping, commercial energy supplies, we don't know. So I think sense should prevail, and the West and NATO should hold their horses, and actually they should not be talking of peace on, I think, whatever terms give and take, as Trump camp is also suggesting that Ukraine could become a neutral country, NATO doesn't give it membership, and maybe then there could be discussion on, let's say, land for peace. So this was a quick rundown of where we are heading, and we'll keep updating. We don't know what happens in next week. So till that time, bye bye.